Alright, hi guys, welcome to the CATKing NMAT 2019 Day 1 analysis. This is Anisha here and I'm going to be talking to you about today's attempt. So today was your first day of NMAT 2019. There are not too many surprises in the overall exam if I look at it, but let's do a deep dive understanding into each section, how the paper was, how was it, and most of the people who have been studying, who have been following all the videos for your weekly study plans, your NMAT, and all of them should not have faced a lot of difficulties in doing the exam, because overall it was not tough. Okay, but if I talk about each section wise to you guys, let's go understanding section wise. First we talk about your quants and data interpretation section. Overall this was an easy section. What made it easy was actually your quants part. The entire quants was formula based, applications of your formulas. You can see evidently the maximum number of questions are from arithmetic. Now in some of the slots there might be questions of time, speed, distance. On the other one maybe there is interest based questions. In another one there is profit and loss based question. So overall arithmetic there were 8 to 10 questions. Numbers has seen a hike this year. You have 5 to 6 questions on numbers. Numbers means questions based on HCF, LCM, remainder theorem, because these are calculation intensive and you don't have a calculator. CAT, you have a direct calculator, so such questions don't come in there. Here you had good questions based on your numbers. Then geometry and mensuration combined 2 to 4 questions. Modern maths 7 to 9 questions. Modern maths is nothing but your permutation, combination, probability, progressions, logs, those kind of questions. In fact, now one disclaimer for all the sections which I'm going to talk to you guys about. See, NMAT, you have 3 slots every day. Each slot also, not necessary 2 people giving the exam at the same time have the same paper. It's all coming from the same pool of questions, right? So difficulty level wise, all of y'all will be more or less the same. Exact question wise will be different. So what I'm giving you guys is a ballpark estimate based on the number of people giving into various slots today. There were certain slots where there were 16 questions of data interpretation and more number of questions of quants. In certain slots where there were 20 questions of data interpretation. Okay, so this is what you have to keep in mind. This is what makes your entire quants part of the paper. Data sufficiency, there were 4 to 5 questions in all the slots. Data interpretation, there were 16 to 20 questions. Good luck if you had 20 questions, because you had 5 sets of data interpretation. Out of all of them, 2 sets were tough. When I say tough, they were lengthy, calculation intensive. Rest were easy, direct understanding of what is the information given. Not tough to analyze or too much of intensive analysis or logic to be used kind of data interpretation sets. Okay. Overall, in this section, you would not face too much difficulty if you were swift in moving further ahead. When I say swift in moving further ahead, that means 60 seconds per question. If you're getting it, solve. If not, flag and move ahead. Why flag? So that later on you can come back to all the flagged answers and mark the answers with a smart guess. Alright? A good attempt would be somewhere around 34 to 38 questions. Rest of them also have to be attempted and marked. When I say good attempt, that is those many questions you should have solved manually. Actually properly solved and marked the answers. Alright, that's about your quants and DI section. Let's move on next towards your reasoning section. Well, this is my favorite section, but today there were a lot of surprises for a lot of people out here. We got mixed reviews of reasoning. There were people saying it was very easy, people saying it was very tough, it was very lengthy, and it was like, oh my god, what the hell. The reason for that is your critical reasoning. All of you guys who have been following all the NMAT Thursdays and the Verbal Wednesday sessions, you would come back telling me it was not that tough, because critical reasoning is something what you know. If you have not studied critical reasoning, make sure you pick up your NMAT official guide, your basic books, and very important, the GMAT official guide, and solve the critical reasoning questions, because there were 16 to 18 critical reasoning questions and at GMAT level. So make sure this is your make or break. People who could solve this, you are definitely cracking it up. The ones who were stuck up here, you have to gain in the rest of the part of the paper. Alright. Remaining questions, you had 1 to 2 sets of puzzles. Puzzles are your arrangement-based seating arrangement questions, those kind of questions. Input output 1 to 2 set. What I mean by that is, if in certain slot there were 2 puzzles, then 1 input output set. If 2 input output sets, then 1 puzzle. So that's how your mix and match is done. Very easy to score were your basic LR and your arithmetic reasoning questions. Basic LR is nothing but your coding, decoding, blood relations, direction sense, very easy to score. Arithmetic reasoning is your number series, your set theory, those Venn diagram questions, as well as your symbols, like, mathematical operations based on P hashtag Q, which means P multiplied by Q, those kind of mathematical operation based questions. So more or less, if I go to the overall section of reasoning, yes, it was tough because verbal reasoning is more time consuming, so it becomes a lengthy section. But if verbal is your strong area, you will not have problems in the reasoning section. Okay, so that's about your reasoning. Last comes my verbal section, which is our favorite section. It was moderate because very easy. Vocabulary, if you know it, section is easy. If you don't know vocabulary, you'll find it tough. Because vocabulary, you can't guess work there. You can't sit and analyze or deduct the answer. Either you know it or you don't. Good thing, there were 5 to 6 direct vocabulary questions based on synonyms, antonyms, analogy questions, very easy, 6 of them. Closed test is nothing but your paragraph with fill in the blanks, 4 questions based on that. Your grammar was your error spotting, very easy. You see a hike in the number of questions here. There were 5 to 7 error spotting questions. Then there were para jumbles, 4 questions, and 2 reading comprehensions. The reading comprehensions were lengthy, they were time consuming to read, but the questions were easy. So that's why overall moderate, because you have to balance your time. 32 questions, 22 minutes. Good attempt is 27 to 30 questions. Why? Because you can score well in that. The order in which you should go ahead, if I have to write the exam, which is something I recommend always, start with verbal. 22 minutes will go over, you will not even realize the paper is done. So we start with verbal section. In verbal, start with vocabulary, analogy, closed test, grammar, then in fact do your reading comprehension and last move to para jumbles, because para jumbles takes time to build that linkage, build that connect and all of them. Okay, after verbal section, you move to your reasoning section. Reasoning section may keep critical reasoning for the end because it's time consuming to analyze. First do the easy work. Do your basic logical reasoning, arithmetic reasoning questions, then move on to your puzzles, then we do input-output questions, and at last we do your critical reasoning questions. But if you're someone who's amazing at verbal, who's prepared for GMAT and verbal reasoning is strong, please start with critical reasoning, you will be more confident. Alright, in this overall 30 to 32 should be a good attempt of questions. Obviously, you're going to mark the remaining questions as well also, so don't leave anything blank. Alright. And at the end, we will come to a quants and DI section. In this, first do all your quants because it's direct formula based. Get done with it and then move to your data interpretation and data sufficiency because that's time consuming, right? So here, do up with all of them. If arithmetic and geometry is your strength, like for me, arithmetic would be my first bet, then geometry, then modern maths and last numbers because I'm someone who didn't like numbers. If you're someone who hates modern maths, reverse it. Do arithmetic, numbers, geometry, last modern maths, then move to DI and DS. But remember, in the entire paper, at least one data interpretation set or one puzzle or one input-output set or one RC were meant to be left. When I say meant to be left, that means you have to randomly mark because they were time, they were your speed breakers because they break your speed and block too much of time. Don't spend too much time. There's a simple funda to move on. You have to believe in that. Verbal, 30 seconds, getting the answer, great. Else, move ahead. Reasoning, 45 seconds, getting an answer, go ahead. Else, move on. Quants and DI, 60 seconds. If not, move ahead. Data interpretation, reading comprehension, puzzles, overall the whole set should not take more than 5 to 7 minutes. Otherwise, you are killing yourself because you will end up wasting too much time and you will not be able to do much easier questions which are still left back. Alright, so keep that in mind, stay focused, keep practicing a lot of questions, stay tuned to all the upcoming videos and very, very importantly, start giving mocks. There are a lot of people who have still not given a single mock of NMAT. that's where you're lacking. Sign up for the CATKing NMAT Mock series. Make sure you'll give the NMAT Mock 4, which was pretty much similar to your official NMAT Mock and more or less the same difficulty level as well also. Practice that up, analyze your mock scores, punch in your scores in the comment section. I'll help you out prepare what has to be done to increase your scores so that we know how to improve in the next 4 to 5 to 10 days based on your first attempt of NMAT. Let's aim that the first attempt itself is killer and we are able to crack NMAT with a 220 plus in it. Alright, all the best, stay tuned, and if you like the video, please subscribe, like and share it with your friends. All the best.
Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from CATKing.